Doug Emhoff reportedly slapped ex-girlfriend so hard she spun around in public altercation in 2012. What is up with these Democrats and these weak men? I told you the Democrat Party is full of weak men. Either they're sus or they're super duper feminine. Because what man would put his hands on a woman? I can't stand a man that would hit a woman. I mean, you're much bigger, much stronger. What reason, what rationale do you have to put your hand on a female? And these are the people that the Democrat Party prop up. Camilla Harris' husband is a woman abuser, and the media is silent on it. They're not talking about this, but best believe we're gonna talk about it. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's talk about this news now. This comes from the Red State, from Brandon Morse, and he reports, is this the new masculinity the left keeps harping about? Because if so, it doesn't look much like masculinity at all. And that's my point. It takes a weak man to put his hand on a female. I mean, in my younger days, I've been slapped by females, I've been punched by females, and all these other things, and I have never ever hit a female back, ever, because I'm a big guy, strong guy. I don't need to hit a female to get my point across. This is just crazy. Like, this is not masculinity, but yet they call me toxic. They call me toxic, but you got someone that actually put his hands on a female, and that's the masculinity that the left wants. This is crazy to me. But the Daily Mail released an exclusive report that detailed how the left's ideal man, Doug Emhoff, reportedly slapped his ex-girlfriend across the face so hard that it caused her to spin around after a fit of jealousy, and in a very public space. According to the Mail, 3 friends have come forward corroborating the story that back in 2012, Emhoff slapped his then-girlfriend at the Cannes Film Festival in France. The second gentleman, Doug Emhoff, allegedly struck the woman in the face so hard she spun around while waiting in a valet line late at night after a May 2012 Cannes Film Festival event in France. One of her friends told the Daily Mail that the woman called him immediately after the incident, sobbing in her cab, and described the alleged assault. DailyMail.com is not naming the woman, who is a successful New York attorney, but will refer to her by the pseudonym Jane. A second friend said Jane, who had been dating Emhoff for 3 months, also told her about the alleged violence at the time. Dang, 3 months. He already put his hands on her. Wow. A third friend told DailyMail.com that Jane first told her in 2014 that she had dated Emhoff, and recounted the full story of his alleged abuse in 2018, when then Senator Harris was in the news after grilling Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh in a Senate hearing over sexual assault allegations. Wow. The incident went down around 3 a.m. when the ex-girlfriend was attempting to get a taxi for her and Emhoff. Emhoff flew into a jealous fit when the ex-girlfriend touched the shoulder of one of the valets. Quote, it was something like 3 a.m. They were trying to get out of there, and they both had been drinking. There was a gigantic line of taxis. Jane went up to one of the valet guys, offered him 100 euros or whatever to get to the head of the line. She told me she put her hand on his shoulder. Doug apparently thought she was flirting and came over and slapped her in the face. Wow. Shoot. That's terrible, man. I'm totally against domestic violence. I work with clients that have been in domestic violence and had to go to shelters and all these other things. This is a sad situation. And now we got the freaking vice president's husband who's a domestic abuser. But she slapped him back. My impression is that he had a lot to drink. She was sobbing on the phone afterwards, but she wasn't slurring words. Doesn't matter if you had a lot of drinks. Hitting a female is inexcusable. Unless she has a gun and you're defending yourself, you have absolutely no reason to put your hand on a female. She told me that she broke up with him that night. Good. The ex-girlfriend said there were no fight beforehand, and Emhoff had been charming and the trip was like a fairy tale. The attack from Emhoff suddenly came out of nowhere and caught her by complete surprise, according to the Mail. She said he turned her around by the right shoulder, and she was completely caught off guard. He hauled up and slapped her so hard she spun around. Uh, um, she said she was in utter shock. She was so furious she slapped him on one side and then on the other cheek with the other hand. She got pop pop. She was rushed into the cab. I'm sorry. She was rushed into the cab, wanting to go back to the hotel without him, but he forced his way into the cab with her. When she asked him what that was all about, the only thing she could get out of him was that he thought she was flirting with the valet. According to the friends, Emhoff was completely unapologetic about it the following day, instead referring to the incident with the tennis metaphor, saying, quote, "Don't worry about it. You got one across the court and down the line." What? Which Jane reportedly believed was him saying, now we're even. Oh, because she hit him back. Well, I don't know. This is crazy, right? The impression she had gotten before the incident was that Emhoff was some sort of prince-like figure from a storybook. After matching on Match.com, Emhoff had love bombed her, introduced her to his parents, his son Cole, and had made some comments about marriage. Apparently, Emhoff had invited his son in on the first date. What? That's weird. Which she thought was odd. Yeah, that is super weird. Why would you bring your child on a first date? According to the Mail, this lines up with Camilla Harris's story about the beginnings of her relationship with Emhoff. This only becomes worse when you break down Emhoff's behavior with his first marriage. He confessed to the ex-girlfriend that he was getting divorced for impregnating his kid's teacher. Wow, this dude has no boundaries. She recalls him not seeming at all remorseful about what purportedly went down between him and the nanny, including his abusive behavior towards her that caused her to lose it. Wow. He told her that he had gotten the kid's teacher pregnant and that that had been the cause of the divorce. The executive said the nanny claimed he had been aggressive with her, shouting or whatever, to a degree that she lost the baby. Wow. So stress made her lose the baby. He did it rather matter-of-factly, not apologizing or saying he screwed up, but just like it was any other conversations. He said that's because Democrats don't value life. Obviously, they don't value life. Not I've got to tell you something. This isn't who I am, or I'm embarrassed by it. There was no shame or regret. The attorney friend said Emhoff suggested the nanny was making up the claims and that Jane wanted to believe him at the time. James said she entertained what he was telling her and telling her that the teacher wasn't really pregnant, that she was doing a shakedown, the lawyer said. Despite all these red flags vividly displayed, the ex ignored them, wanting to see the best in the man who had wooed her. Of course, all of this came crashing down the night in France when he displayed open and unapologetic abusiveness. Quote, "He's a really bad guy. To hold him out as a supporter of women is just disgusting," said the ex-girlfriend. Of course, if the reports are accurate, then Emhoff isn't just abusive. He's incredibly manipulative as well. This is all a grotesque image of a man that is currently sold to us as the pillar of modern masculinity. But what is masculine about being unapologetically abusive towards women who you were merely suspect of flirting with another man? This is all a disgusting display of lack of masculinity, not the presence of it. And that's my point. There's nothing masculine about losing your temper and putting your hands on a female. I mean, there's nothing masculine about that. That's the opposite of masculinity. That's showing your femininity, because you're moving off of your feelings, off of your feelings, and is affecting your behavior. There's nothing masculine about that. But y'all, let me know what y'all think about this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.